Dearest Mother, I think I have seen one of the most extraordinary sights today that anyone has ever seen. About 10 o'clock this morning, I was peeping over the parapet when I saw a German waving his arms. And presently, 2 of them got out of their trenches and came towards us. We were just going to fire on them when we saw they had no rifles. So one of our men went out to meet them, and in about 2 minutes, the ground between the 2 lines of trenches was swarming with men and officers from both sides, shaking hands and wishing each other a happy Christmas. The Germans offered us some cigars, so I went back to my trench and found some extra jam and corned beef. I guess some of the other men had done the same, because pretty soon the Germans were eating eagerly. I decided that they must have been short of food, because while I didn't understand hardly anything they said, I could tell that this was probably their first good meal in days. Funny, just a few hours earlier, I was complaining about the food. Seeing the Germans tear into it made me realize I should have been grateful for what I had. Then someone threw a football from a trench, and we all started kicking it around. I couldn't believe I was playing footy with the same men I had been shooting at the day before. Eventually, our men started singing Silent Night. I guess the Germans knew the same song because they started singing it in German. As time went on, we found more Christmas songs that both sides knew, and we sang them too. I will never forget the feeling of hearing men sing Christmas carols I know and love in a completely foreign language. God truly speaks to all men, doesn't he? After a while, some felt the need for sleep, so men started walking back to their trenches. The Germans went to their side, and our men went to our side. I knew that this short respite from the war couldn't possibly last forever, but I wanted it to. I really wanted it to. I stayed until the very last German started making his way back to his trench. As I started to go back to mine, he turned to me and he said, Frohe Weihnachten. Earlier I had learned that this was a German phrase for Happy Christmas. So I said it back to him in English. Back in the trench, I asked the chaplain to read the Christmas story from the Bible. He started reading from the 2nd chapter of Luke. And when he reached the words of the angels, glory to God in the highest, and on earth peace, goodwill toward men, it meant more to me than it had ever meant before. Yes, even during the horror of war, the Christ child can still bring peace on earth and goodwill toward men. May your Christmas be as happy as mine was this day. Love, Nigel.